Coming up next, Forecaster John Bordash goes over the latest forecast, timing of the winter storm, and impacts you can expect in southern Maryland and across the mid-Atlantic. Stay tuned. This live forecast begins shortly.
Winter weather looks to threaten southern Maryland on Sunday. As this system moves closer to our area, turn to JB Weather for continuing coverage.
Forecaster John Bordash will be providing around-the-clock coverage, providing the latest analysis, forecast updates, and live reports to keep you and your family ahead of the storm.
When winter weather strikes, JB Weather is providing winter weather coverage southern Maryland can count on. Brought to you by our sponsors: William Richmond Inc., Farmers Home and Auto Insurance, the Bob Koski Agency, R.E. Graves Heating and Air Conditioning, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, McNeil's Group Properties, the Charleston Senior Community, and Chesapeake's Bounty. Now, here's Forecaster John Bordash with a live forecast update.
Hey, and good morning, everyone. I'm Forecaster John Bordash with you early this morning at 3 a.m. to give you your first live update here from the Storm Center on the forecast we're looking at, the changes that could be occurring, and really just to give you updated analysis on what to expect this morning. Good morning to about, it looks like the 67 of you all who are up early this morning with me to track the potential winter weather, and we can get right into it. This is a live look at radar. Much of the region right now starting as rain, and we did expect that. If you were following along last night, we definitely did talk about that potential for this to start as rain, just because temperatures are still a little bit too warm. If I take you on over here, here we go, and I will actually turn this layer off just to give you an idea of the temperatures we're looking at. Down towards the southern tip of St. Mary's County, the latest report we're getting from Lake Webster Airfield shows a temperature of 47, Pax River 42, 41 on up towards Andrews Air Force Base. So colder air does exist up to the north, and we don't typically hit our coldest point in the day until right before sunrise. So we still have a good 5 hours yet, so it'll cool things down. But again, radar right now does show, for the most part, rain. We are beginning to see snow break out, though, back to the south and west. And if I take you back over here to this version of radar, what I will show you is, give me 1 second, that's that, and that's that. I want to make sure I am zoomed all the way out. There we go. So here we go. Our storm system has indeed formed down here off the southeast coastline as we slowly bring it back in. And maybe we won't do it too quick, but you can see it right here. Areas of high pressure to the north are helping to funnel in colder air, and this will generally track up off the coastline. My final call forecast, bringing you back over here. Well, first I do want to touch. We do still have, this map is largely unchanged. Winter storm warnings do exist to our north and west, but this does include Anne Arundel, PG, Charles, and King George County. My final call forecast yesterday, 1 to 3 much of the region, and let's zoom into southern Maryland. 3 to 6 the closer you hit to I-95. The one change I would probably make this morning is in that darker blue zone, maybe more like 3 than 6. But I still think that 1 to 3 zone is looking good. I will show you our latest, our computer modeling. I'm going to show you 2 different models here. This is our North America model. It does a pretty good job of showing what's going to happen. This model was pretty good during the last system. It showed that switchover terrain happening earlier than other models did, which ended up being right. So as we press this model forward, and I need to get it to a point where I can see the time. So right up here, as we push this forward, right now we are sitting at, so this would be 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, not too far off. This is, for the most part, what we're seeing across the region this morning, and this is the brand new run of this model. And you can see southern Maryland sits right up in here. So this is 3 a.m., heading over towards 4 and 5. You can see rain tries to stick around, but that snow is progressing westward, and by 6 and 7 o'clock, we're beginning to see areas switch over to snow, and that would be the most likely to happen first in western in northern areas that are colder already this morning. We're seeing that with that high temperature grading between 47 in the lower part of St. Mary's County and about 41, 42 degrees on approach Andrews Air Force Base. By about 8 and 9 o'clock, this model really tries to bring in that snow across the region, maybe some pockets of lingering rain up along Bayside communities. But this model is still holding firm with the idea of snow, potentially some periods of heavy snow. Rain snow line trying to stay to our south. This is getting you out towards about 11 a.m. this morning. This would be noon, 1 o'clock, 2, 3, 4, and it's out of here by the time we head over towards you getting ready for the Super Bowl, having watch parties, or whatever that is, with social distancing, of course. If I show you the snow output this model does, by and large, this says our forecast shouldn't really be changed. This is the model output, so not my forecast, but this is something I'm looking at. A general 1 to 3, 2 to 4 type scenario. This model just try to paint some heavier snows in our region. I'm not sure I buy that, especially given the warm temperatures we're already seeing this morning. But I don't think this is too far off with the idea that, we're still going to be looking at snow. I'll show you one other model. This is going to be our HRRR model. It's called the HRRR, High Resolution Rapid Refresh. This model here updates every hour. So it gets new data in all the time. This is the newest run, showing that snow kicking off. So let's see. Let's back you up to where we are right now. 12. Oh, and this. So the newest run's actually still coming in. So let me get you the run we had last hour. So this would be 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Not too far off snow. 4, 5, 6. So look, it has some areas of rain. And what I'm looking at, you see these like yellow showing up, which indicates heavier bands of precipitation. What that will act to do is bring down colder air. And actually what I do want to show you before I get too much further into this, and I did not add this into my presentation, so I need to do that quickly. I made this graphic last night that I really think helps to illustrate the potential here that we are looking at. So let me get this loaded, and I need to get it off of Facebook. It's what I posted earlier yesterday. So we're going to copy image. We are going to not paste. That's fine. I'll get that loaded for our next live update. But we have very cold air up above our heads. And what the heavy precipitation rates will do, bringing it back over here, will help to act as a vessel to bring down that colder air. So if we do see this heavier banding setup, it wouldn't surprise me to start seeing some snowflakes mix in with this. Towards 6 and 7 o'clock, though, it starts to bring in snow. And as we've been saying, that rain snow line just to the northwest of it, that's where we'll see the heaviest snow. And that's what this model continues to show here. And now we're headed over towards those 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And look, and it has those heavier bands on the other side of the rain snow line setting up. And then maybe we end with some raindrops as temperatures begin to warm again. This model in terms of snowfall, so again, not my forecast, but this model, not as bullish. It shows that general 1 to 3, maybe 3 to 6, but it shows not 3 to 6, so maybe closer to 3 than 6. But what we're seeing on all of our models this morning, and the trends I'm seeing, really illustrates what I had shown you yesterday on this boom bust zone forecast. So area 1 northwest of DC, that's in that 3 to 6. They might not see 3 to 6 because if the precip isn't as heavy, it won't accumulate as fast. And if this storm is a little further to the south and east, that heavier precip might not line up out that way. Now, area 2 in our region, that purple zone, forecast here could be underdone. So you might be on the higher end of that 1 to 3 if we do see these heavier bands come through. So don't be fooled if you are sitting for maybe 2 or 3 hours with some rain. That wouldn't surprise me, and I think that would still align pretty much with my forecast. You'd still probably meet my totals, but the big thing, it's not if we see rain for 2 or 3 hours. The big thing is going to be if we see heavier bands set up later this morning. If that happens, then you'll probably be on the higher end. Because, you can get snow rates of 1 to 2 inches an hour. You see that for a couple hours, you're going to be on the upper end of the forecast. So that is kind of what we're talking about locally, and that's going to be something I continue to watch. As things stand right now, I would expect some travel difficulties after sunrise this morning up through about midday. If this snow does indeed come down heavy enough and we are on the upper end of our ranges and we see the snow accumulate on roadways, I would expect those travel difficulties to maybe linger into the afternoon and evening. But it's a little too early to say if that will happen for sure. We are still, the storm's happening right now, and it's still, we still have some questions left with this. There's our system right now, it doesn't look either northwest or southeast to me. We'll get a better idea when it gets its act together off the Carolina coastline, so we'll see. But that will be something I continue to track. Becca wants to know, when does the snow start in Chesapeake Beach? Probably around sunrise. So precip has begun to fall for some of you, especially south of Prince Frederick and La Plata. But I would expect that transition from rain over to snow sometime around probably sunrise, so around between, let's call it 6 to 8 a.m. would generally be what I expect. And then you can see some of that heavier snow. Potentially. I don't even want to call it heavy. When I say heavier, people tend to think I mean heavy, but like more moderate or steady snow later on this morning, getting close to the lunch hour, right before it ends. So we will see if that happens. And thank you, I appreciate that. And James wants to know what I think will happen. I mean, I will still stick with my forecast. Granted, if I bring it back over here, this 3 to 6 area is probably a bit overdone. Many in this area will probably be closer to 3 than 6 because that heavier rain. I've been showing you these models. Coming back over here, the 3 to 6. So not very many people are above 4, and we talked about that yesterday. More people would be like 3 to 4 than 5 to 6. But this model has a hard time even getting precip too far north. That is heavy. So we shall see. I will live or die by that final call forecast, but that will continue to be what we look at. In Arlington, I'd say maybe like 2 to 3 inches probably. That would be my expectation. Snow probably starts around 6 o'clock or so. And good morning, Crystal. Thank you for following. So I will continue to keep you updated with the latest. This is going to be a very interesting day. Good morning, Mom. And I will continue to keep you updated here from the Storm Center. I'll have these live updates every 90 minutes. So the next one will be probably right around 4:30 or so. We'll get new information at that point. So we will continue to track that and watch all of this. So stay with JB Weather for the latest, and I will continue to keep you updated. In the meantime, though, I'm going to continue to work on this coffee and look over our newest data and look at our atmospheric stuff and see what's going on. A couple of last questions, Sarah. St. Mary's, Lexington Park. Oh, there it goes. 1 to 3 is my forecast for you. And when is the snow going to start in Calvert? Again, rain probably lingers for a few hours. The snow looks to probably start around sunrise. So again, probably like 6 to 8 a.m. I'll put a post up on Twitter and Facebook detailing that start time so you have access to that information. So I will continue to keep you updated. I know some of you joined late, so you didn't catch all of that, but I'll let y'all go. I'm going to get some work done, and stay tuned here to JB Weather. Give us give me a follow over on Twitter at JB_Weather, on Facebook, on YouTube. You can get the YouTube link at jbweather.net. There's a little icon on the top corner. YouTube at some point will have to let me change my URL to JB Weather, so I'll change that as soon as I can, so I can link you to that. And a couple last questions. Now, I keep saying that, but Chesapeake Beach, probably about 1 to 3-ish or so. I mean, my final call forecast had you like, it's like 2 to 4. I'd probably stick closer to 2 than 4. Is it going to end as rain and melt? Pat, that is a potential. So do be aware of that. Granted, I think if we switch over to heavy snow, I think it will end as heavy snow because we'll already have brought down that cold air. If we don't switch to heavy snow, it's more of just like a light snow mix, then probably. So that is going to be that's it. I'm going to get some work done, but stay tuned. I'll continue to keep you updated. Have a nice and safe one. One last thing. I have my coffee. Yes. And I've not been up all night. I went to bed at like 8:30, and I woke up at like 1. So I did get some sleep in there. And chances it stays all rain. That chance is 100% there. Most of our models do not point to that. I know I keep saying I'm going to get going, but I do like talking about this, so it's hard for me just to cut away when there's a question. But our temperatures right now are in the 30s. What I want to show you, and actually it might be easier to do so if I come over here to show you the, let's not just look at totals. What I want to show you are temperatures. This is not the coldest part in the day. I mean, right now we are sitting with temperatures in the 30s. As we head towards sunrise, there we go. Let me make sure that we are moving forward here because I pressed the wrong button. As you move over towards about sunrise, temperatures will fall, and 37 is actually cold enough to support snow because it is going to be very cold in the upper levels of the atmosphere. Up above our heads, not even all that far. I can get that loaded. Temperatures, this is centigrade, but -1 is below freezing. Even further above our heads, I mean, we're going to be above freezing through most of the layers of the atmosphere, just not here at the surface. So that will allow for a lot of this to fall as snow. But that's it for me now. I will continue to keep you updated. Stay tuned here to JV Weather for the latest information, and have a nice and safe one.